Hi guys, how are you all? I'm pretty sure it must be so amazing, and I'm pretty sure all of you have subscribed the channel. You are getting all the things nicely, and I'm preparing you for the NEET and the CBSE exam. So this is the part 3 of breathing and exchange of gases, where we would see exchange of gases, transport of gases, oxygen dissociation curve. And अभी तक का हमने बहुत सारी चीजें we have covered, and I'm pretty sure you have seen part 1 and part 2. Those students who have not watched it so far, I have given the link in the description box of this video, right? And yes, if you are having any doubts, you want PDF of the session, you can join Telegram channel. Link I have given in the description box. So see you, and let me just take you ahead. Let's start our part 3. So yes, let's discuss all about the exchange of gases, right? So when we talk about the exchange of gases, that means we are talking about the exchange of gases between alveoli and blood. So obviously gaseous exchange happen between blood and then the blood capillaries, and then blood take the oxygen to the tissues, and obviously then it would transfer, the gaseous exchange would happen between the blood and the tissues obviously, and we would see all the things in detail way, तो सबसे पहले हम exchange देखेंगे alveoli और blood का, and then blood and tissues में obviously exchange happening. So we would see all the things here. So we know gaseous exchange happen by simple diffusion. And what are the factors that is responsible for gaseous exchange? So first of all, pressure or concentration gradient means gases basically move from high to the low pressure, right? And yes, we are actually having the partial pressure here. So bacha, what is the partial pressure actually? So partial pressure means partial pressure means pressure of individual gas in mixture of gases. So in whole mixture of gases, what is the pressure of the individual gas? So that is basically this what we call. What is this? Just a minute down. So partial pressure means this individual gas का जो pressure है, right? So we would see that partial pressure is basically pressure of the individual gas. So what is the partial pressure? When we are talking about the partial pressure, means in mixture of gases, what is the pressure of individual gas? So obviously it's a pressure of individual gas in mixture of gases. तो पूरे मिक्सचर ऑफ गैसेस में, बिकॉज एयर हैव मिक्सचर ऑफ गैसेस, उसमें इंडिविजुअल गैस का क्या प्रेशर है, दैट इज द पार्शियल प्रेशर. एंड एयर ऑलवेज मूव, गैसेस ऑलवेज मूव फ्रॉम हाई पार्शियल प्रेशर टू low partial pressure, that we would see. Solubility of gases means more the solubility of gases, more the gas will dissolve in the plasma, more diffusion would happen. And thickness of membrane means it should be very very thin. कितना होना चाहिए? बहुत thin membrane होनी चाहिए, so that it would be able to exchange of gases, right? And we know how exchange of gases happen. So this is NCERT diagram. Right atrium of heart, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. So we know that deoxygenated blood from the body, जिसमें CO2 बहुत ज़्यादा है, having more CO2 content, would come from the tissue to the right atrium. So right atrium receive deoxygenated blood from the body parts, right? And deoxygenated blood have 40 mmHg oxygen and 45 mmHg CO2. It would be pumped, right atrium take blood to the right ventricle, and it would be pumped via pulmonary artery to the lungs. और lungs में क्या होगा? Obviously CO2 would diffuse in the alveoli क्योंकि deoxygenated blood have 45 mmHg CO2. So obviously it would move from high pressure to low pressure. And oxygen कितना है deoxygenated blood में? It's 40 mmHg. So blood में से alveoli से oxygen would come to the blood. Now this oxygenated blood from pulmonary vein come to the left atrium of heart, then left ventricle of the heart, and it would pump blood to the whole body via aorta, right? And उसके बाद यहाँ पर जो oxygenated blood का pressure होगा, it would be 95 mmHg and CO2 would be 40 mmHg. एंड ऑब्वियसली टिश्यूज के पास कितना होता है, तो पार्शियल प्रेशर इन द CO2 इज सेम एज द डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड, दैट इज 45, and partial pressure of oxygen is 40. So that means oxygen from the oxygenated blood come to the lungs, come to the tissue, and CO2 would go to the blood. And in this way, blood become deoxygenated now, and the same circulation would happen in the particular body, right? So इस तरीके से होती है exchange of gases. और मैंने कहा partial pressure of individual gas, partial pressure is important here. So obviously gases move from high to the low partial pressure. That means what is the partial pressure? Pressure contributed by individual gas in mixture of gases. एक गैस का pressure in mixture of gases is partial pressure. So partial pressure of CO2 and PO2 represent partial pressure of oxygen, right? So this is something which you have to remember. Then obviously I have told you that more the solubility, faster diffusion would be there. तो CO2 की solubility 20 से 25 टाइम, solubility of CO2 is 20 to 25 times more than the oxygen solubility. Hence, obviously CO2 will diffuse faster through the membrane, right? And they have given this NCERT number of partial pressure. They have given the value of the partial pressure of gases in different spaces. So oxygen ka partial pressure in atmosphere would be 159 mmHg. CO2 ka partial pressure in the atmosphere would be 0.3, which is less. Alveoli mein oxygen ka partial pressure is 104 and CO2 40. So therefore oxygen move from air to the alveoli because it is having high partial pressure, and here we are having low partial pressure. So from high to low oxygen would come. And same way CO2 is more in alveoli in comparison to the atmospheric air. So CO2 would go out of the alveoli. Same way deoxygenated blood में oxygen is 40, alveoli में 104 is the partial pressure of oxygen. So from high to low pressure gases would move. And same way deoxygenated blood had 45 mmHg CO2, it would move to alveoli as alveoli have less partial pressure of CO2. As simple as that. When we talk about oxygenated blood, we know it is having 95 mmHg oxygen and 40 mmHg CO2, and tissues have 40 mmHg oxygen and 45 mmHg CO2. So therefore oxygenated blood say oxygen would move to the tissues, and from the tissue CO2 come to the blood and blood become deoxygenated again. So this is how exchange of gases happen because of the difference in partial pressure, right? So we would see transport of gases in detail way now once the exchange of gases happened. अब oxygen and CO2 would transport from the blood, from tissue to the alveoli, from alveoli to the tissue. And we would see how oxygen would migrate, would transport from lung to the tissue, and how CO2 would transport from tissue to alveoli in detail way. Are you ready? And I'm pretty sure everything is clear to everyone. Right, so which are now we are having the blood, right? So transport of gases. So we know that blood may obviously O2, CO2 is transported, and 97% oxygen is transported binding with RBC, binding with hemoglobin. So yes, 97% oxygen transported binding with hemoglobin, that you have to remember. And obviously 3% of the oxygen actually transported in dissolved form of the plasma, which you have to remember, right? Same way, if we talk about the CO2 transport, so 20 to 25% CO2 transported by hemoglobin binding. So hemoglobin के साथ bind करके approx 23%, not 20 to 25%, approx 23% CO2 transported in form of the carba-amino-hemoglobin, means binding with the hemoglobin. 70% CO2 migrate or transport in the form of bicarbonate ion. We would see how. ये सब हमने detail में पढ़ना. We have to do it in detail, right? So obviously it would react with water. So water react with CO2 in presence of carbonic anhydrase enzyme. And that carbonic anhydrase actually form bicarbonate ion, H2CO3, which is unstable, and hence it would dissociate it into hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. So obviously 90% CO2, sorry, 70% CO2 transported in form of bicarbonate ion. And 7% CO2 कैसे transport होगा? In dissolved form with plasma. So first of all, we would do oxygen transport in detailed way, and then we would do the CO2 transport in detailed way, right? And I'm pretty sure everything is clear to everyone so far. So let me take you ahead. Let's start with the transport of gases. लो जी, अब चलने वाली हमारी गाड़ी है ना. So transport of oxygen would be going to happen. And I have told you maximum 97% oxygen will be transported by binding with hemoglobin. And one hemoglobin obviously bind with 4 oxygen molecule. Bacha, one hemoglobin bind with 4 oxygen molecule, or obviously 4 oxygen molecule have 8 atoms, है ना? So 4 to 8 atoms of oxygen is there, which is taken by, transported by one hemoglobin. And in the alveoli, obviously oxyhemoglobin would be formed, है ना? तो obviously alveoli में oxygen is more, so oxygen would be go to the blood and bind with the hemoglobin there, and we are going to discuss all the points in detailed way. But before that, let me tell you about the hemoglobin, which is the red color respiratory pigment in RBCs, obviously. And this is made up of heme, which is the prosthetic group, extra group, and globulin is actually protein. So when we talk about heme group, it's an extra group attached with the protein and form hemoglobin, right? So you can see the diagram here. They have given this RBC. RBC, they extract out the hemoglobin, and hemoglobin actually made up of 2 alpha 2 beta chain protein. And obviously this yellow color structure is heme group, which is having the iron molecule. So one iron molecule bind one oxygen molecule, and obviously one molecule of the hemoglobin contain 4 iron. So 4 iron means obviously one hemoglobin have 4 iron molecule. That 4 iron, and obviously 4 iron would basically transport 4 oxygen molecule. That is something which you have to remember. And in 100 ml of blood, 100 ml of human blood contain 15 ग्राम हीमोग्लोबिन. 100 ml ब्लड में हमारे 15 ग्राम हीमोग्लोबिन होगा, and 1 gram hemoglobin actually carries this much oxygen, that is 1.34 ml of oxygen. Now use your mathematics. If 1 gram hemoglobin carries 1.34 ml of oxygen, then 100 ml of blood means having 15 gram hemoglobin. 100 ml of blood contain 15 gram hemoglobin, carries how much oxygen? So 1 gram hemoglobin carries 1.34 ml oxygen, and 15 ग्राम कितना करेगा? 15 into 1.34 से मल्टीप्लाई करो. What would be the answer? Multiply by 1.34, 15. So obviously 20 ml of oxygen would be carried by 15 gram hemoglobin, or you can say 100 ml of blood. So we got to know कि भाई 100 ml blood actually carries 100 ml blood actually carries how much oxygen? Obviously 20 ml of oxygen. और हमें पता है 100 ml blood actually carries 15 gram hemoglobin and we know the value this much amount of oxygen would be carried. अब हमें 100 ml का पता है that 100 ml blood carries 20 ml oxygen. Now you would tell me 1 ml blood would carries how much oxygen? So obviously we would just divide it by 100. And this much ml of oxygen would be carried by 1 ml of blood. And our body have 5 liter blood. तो बेटा 5 लीटर ब्लड में कितना ऑक्सीजन होगा? सो ऑब्वियसली 5 ml blood, our body have 500 ml blood or 5 liter blood, or 5 liter is equal to 5000 ml. So our body have 5 liter blood and 5 liter blood is actually equal to the 5000 ml blood. So we can write it like this also. We can write it like this also. So 5 liter or 5000 ml of blood would carry how much oxygen? 20 upon 100 into 5000. So you will be getting answer. So obviously it will be approx 1 liter oxygen. 5 liter of blood or 5000 ml of blood will be going to carry approx 1 liter of oxygen or 1000 ml oxygen, right? So you can just find out the terms in liter or ml obviously. So this is something which I have written over here, है ना? तो यहाँ पर ये सारी चीजें लिखी हुई हैं. You can just refer the slides. Now we would see that obviously we know that 100 ml blood carries 20 ml oxygen, right? So let me just take an example here. This 100 ml blood, 100 ml oxygenated blood would carry 20 ml oxygen. We know it, right? So this is the arteries. Arteries, you know, always carry oxygenated blood. And this is actually tissues. So we would see that in normal condition means when you are not doing any exercise. In a normal condition, under normal condition, what is the oxygen consumption of tissue? So we would see oxygen consumption of tissue at rest. So we know 100 ml blood carries 20 ml oxygen, and out of this 20 ml oxygen at rest, it would give, capillaries would give 5 ml oxygen to tissue. कितना देगा? 5 ml oxygen would be utilized by tissue out of 20 ml. And rest 14.5 ml oxygen go back to the vein. So deoxygenated blood still have this much amount of oxygen. Now you would say कि ma'am out of 20, 5 ml, 5 ml has given to tissue. Now it should be 15. Why you have written 14.5 approx? Because some of the oxygen will be utilized by the WBC of the blood also. इसलिए I'm writing 14.4 ml means maximum oxygen remain unutilized. So a large number of oxygen, large amount of oxygen remain unutilized. Remain unutilized in unutilized where? In human blood. Even after uptake by body tissue. So what would happen with this so much oxygen in the vein which is still left in deoxygenated blood? It would be stored, it would act as reserve. Reserve means जब जरूरत होगी, whenever body require it, it would be available for the body in the extreme strenuous stressful condition, right? So let me just tell you what would happen At the strenuous condition means stressful condition. Now normal condition में तो maximum oxygen remain unutilized, but during stressful condition, you know what would happen? During stressful condition or while you are doing exercise, जब बहुत खतरनाक एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हो, राइट, while you are doing exercise, in that condition, out of 20 ml oxygen, 15 ml oxygen is delivered to metabolically active tissue. Metabolically active means which is working. So it would be delivered to the metabolically active tissue, and only approx 4.4 ml oxygen remain unutilized. So this time very little amount of oxygen remain unused, क्योंकि 15 ml oxygen तो पहले डिलीवर कर दिया है टिश्यूज को. किस कंडीशन में? स्ट्रेसफुल कंडीशन में. जब आप एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं, व्हेन यू आर डूइंग एक्सरसाइज, देन एट दैट टाइम 15 ml oxygen will be utilized by the metabolically active tissue, which you have to remember. Now obviously it's done. We would see oxygen dissociation curve. And what is the oxygen dissociation curve? In our NCERT, a beautiful diagram has drawn, and where they have given, in this graph, they have given the relationship between partial pressure of oxygen and percentage saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen. Means partial pressure of oxygen or amount of or value of the oxygen that is required to bind with hemoglobin. कितना ऑक्सीजन चाहिए हीमोग्लोबिन को सैचुरेट करने के लिए, या परसेंटेज ऑफ हीमोग्लोबिन को सैचुरेट करने के लिए व्हाट पार्शियल प्रेशर इज रिक्वायर्ड. सो दिस ग्राफ इज एक्चुअली रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन saturation of the hemoglobin and partial pressure of oxygen, right? तो यहाँ पर हम देखेंगे कि कितना ऑक्सीजन चाहिए होता है यहाँ पर हीमोग्लोबिन को सैचुरेट करने के लिए. तो 50% हीमोग्लोबिन रिक्वायर this much amount of the oxygen, partial pressure of oxygen to get saturated. That is actually the relationship here. तो अब हम देखने वाले हैं कि in alveoli oxygen is more, and obviously this oxygen would go to the blood and form oxyhemoglobin. यहां पर बनेगा बेटा oxyhemoglobin, means oxygen plus hemoglobin. And obviously at the site of lungs में क्या होगा? ऑक्सीजन हीमोग्लोबिन एफिनिटी वुड बी मोर. एफिनिटी मतलब दोनों एक दूसरे के लिए बहुत ज्यादा अट्रैक्ट करेंगे, एक दूसरे को बहुत ज्यादा अट्रैक्ट करने वाले हैं. बट टिश्यूज में वी नो इन द टिश्यूज ऑक्सीजन लेवल इज लो, सो ऑब्वियसली व्हाट वुड हैपन? हीमोग्लोबिन एंड ऑक्सीजन एफिनिटी वुड गो डाउन एट द साइट ऑफ टिश्यू. तो टिश्यू में ऑक्सीजन बहुत कम है, तो अब यहां पर क्या होगा? ब्लड में हीमोग्लोबिन ऑक्सीजन का जो बॉन्ड है इट वुड बिकम वीक. हीमोग्लोबिन की जो अट्रैक्शन है टुवर्ड्स द ऑक्सीजन इट वुड गो डाउन, एंड ऑक्सीजन वुड ब्रेक डाउन फ्रॉम हीमोग्लोबिन, ब्रेकअप हो जाएगा, एंड ऑक्सीजन लीव हीमोग्लोबिन टू कम टू द टिश्यू. So we would see this oxygen dissociation curve in detail way now. So let's start it, right? So oxygen dissociation curve, as we see the diagram, it is basically S-shaped. It is sigmoid shaped curve. We can see it in the diagram. And remember that obviously we are having this particular graph here between the partial pressure of oxygen and percentage saturation of hemoglobin. कितना hemoglobin get saturated or get bound with the oxygen. So we would see the relationship between both the things, right? So यहाँ पर S-shaped sigmoid curve we would be getting this, right? So we would see that what are the factors that would actually dissociate oxygen from hemoglobin, मतलब which would decrease hemoglobin and oxygen bond, and where they would get dissociated, कहाँ पर जाकर वो टूटने वाले हैं. So we would see it. So on the basis of that, either this graph would shift towards the left towards the right, or it would shift towards the left. So अब हम देखेंगे कि लेफ्ट शिफ्ट कब होगा इस ग्राफ में, एंड व्हेन दिस राइट शिफ्ट वुड हैपन. सो राइट शिफ्ट एंड लेफ्ट शिफ्ट कब होगा, लेट्स सी इट. सो यू कैन सी दैट 50% हीमोग्लोबिन को सैचुरेट करने के लिए इन द राइट शिफ्ट वी रिक्वायर मोर ऑक्सीजन. सो दैट मीन्स हियर P50 value is more. P50 value means, obviously, P50 value means partial pressure of oxygen, partial value of partial pressure of oxygen, value of the partial pressure of oxygen at which 50% hemoglobin gets saturated. So we would see that how much value of the partial pressure required, how much value of the oxygen is required to saturate 50% हीमोग्लोबिन. 50% हीमोग्लोबिन के साथ बाइंड करने के लिए इसको कितना अमाउंट ऑक्सीजन चाहिए, दैट इज द P50 वैल्यू. एंड ऑब्वियसली राइट शिफ्ट में वी रिक्वायर मोर ऑक्सीजन टू सैचुरेट 50% hemoglobin, and in the left shift, see, we require less oxygen to saturate, so we are having the less P50 value for the left shift. So left shift के लिए we require less oxygen to saturate 50% oxygen, 50% hemoglobin, and in the right shift we require ज़्यादा oxygen to saturate 50% hemoglobin. That means लेफ्ट शिफ्ट में हीमोग्लोबिन जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा प्यार करता है ऑक्सीजन से. हीमोग्लोबिन अट्रैक्शन इज मोर फॉर ऑक्सीजन, सो लेस अमाउंट ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, even the less amount of oxygen binding with the hemoglobin and saturating is so fast. Whereas right shift indicate that hemoglobin doesn't like oxygen, तो अब हमें बहुत ज्यादा ऑक्सीजन देना पड़ रहा है so that कि some oxygen at least would bind with the hemoglobin and 50% hemoglobin gets saturated, get bound with the oxygen. This is our purpose. So that means obviously we would see where these conditions happen, where the left shift and right shift happen, and in which condition actually. So जब हम right shift की बात करते हैं left, and it's given in NCERT in direct way, indirect way में वो ग्राफ के पास लिखा हुआ है, and please don't skip it, right? So अब हम देखेंगे what would happen in the right shift and left shift. So L for left, L for lungs. So where the left shift happen, it happens in the lungs, and where right shift happen, it happen in tissues. Obviously in lungs, oxygen amount is more, partial pressure of oxygen is more, partial pressure of CO2 is less. Or when CO2 is less, obviously hydrogen ion would also be less. So that means hydrogen ion अगर कम है तो pH ज़्यादा होगा, pH would be higher, right? And all these conditions would increase affinity of hemoglobin, increase affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. So hemoglobin अच्छा मानने लगेगा ऑक्सीजन को, it would start loving oxygen and start binding with oxygen. So obviously here association of the oxygen hemoglobin happen in the lungs, and this means association of oxygen happening, forming the bond easily and fast because hemoglobin like oxygen, and it's like please you come and friendship with me, I want to bind with you. So obviously it would bind early in the lungs in the left shift. So हमें कम ऑक्सीजन में भी ज्यादा हीमोग्लोबिन जल्दी बाइंड हो जाएंगे. That means P50 value means value of the partial pressure of oxygen will be less to saturate 50% hemoglobin because their affinity is so high here. Because affinity of hemoglobin is so high for the oxygen, and this condition is known as Haldane effect. So Heldon effect basically happen in the lungs. Whereas in the right shift, in tissue, हमें पता है partial pressure oxygen का कम होता है. They are having more CO2, hydrogen ion more, means pH would be less, acidic pH would be there. And obviously temperature, because reaction happened in tissue, so temperature would be high and temperature would be low here in case of lungs, right? And all these condition is actually decreasing hemoglobin affinity, decrease hemoglobin attraction for oxygen. और जिससे क्या होगा, obviously hemoglobin and oxygen get dissociated, oxygen will dissociate from the hemoglobin, breakup happen here and oxygen go to the tissue. ऑक्सीजन वुड बी अवेलेबल फॉर द टिश्यू, तो इनका ब्रेकअप हो गया एंड ऑक्सीजन जाकर टिश्यूज के साथ रहने लगा, राइट? एंड दिस इफेक्ट इज नोन एज बोहर्स इफेक्ट, है ना? सैड स्टोरी of oxygen here, breakup story of oxygen and hemoglobin here, breakup story, है ना? So heart breaking, heart break हो गया यहाँ पर, right? So this is something which you have to remember, and obviously here I have written it in words that obviously in the right shift dissociation of oxygen hemoglobin happen. And obviously, bacha, I have told you already that PO2, obviously partial pressure of oxygen is less in tissue and CO2 is more in tissue. So obviously right shift would happen because they have low oxygen, more hydrogen ion, because they have more CO2. pH is decreased here, it become acidic. Temperature increased and there is a chemical known as BPG which also decrease hemoglobin affinity for oxygen. So BPG also increased, that is bisphosphoglycerate. This is the chemical. So this chemical also more in the tissue which would decrease affinity for hemoglobin, oxygen for hemoglobin. So hence all these conditions known as Bohr's effect because they decrease affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen due to increase in partial pressure of CO2 and decrease blood pH, and obviously because of all these conditions would cause the right shift, and obviously right shift happen in the tissue. Same left shift में सारी condition उल्टी होगी because it would happen in the lungs. So here not dissociation but association would happen. So here association of oxygen with hemoglobin happen in the lungs, Heldon effect. So you have to remember all these things here, and I have already told you all the things, and this is the graph of left shift, right shift also that I have already discussed with you, right? So right shift is for Bohr's effect, left shift for the Heldon's effect happening in the lungs. This is happening in tissue, and I'm pretty sure everything is clear to everyone now, and thanks a lot for your huge love and support. And Bacha, keep sending your comments. How did you like the video? And obviously share it with your friends also. And see you all in the next session. Part 4 chapter would be over, and then we would start some other chapter also, right? So bye bye, Bacha. Have a great day. See you all in the next class. Enjoy your day.